Good morning, everybody. It's Queezzy, baby. Thank you for tuning into the channel. I hope everybody is having a wonderful, beautiful start to their morning. The sun is shining and the snow is still out there. I hope everyone is having a safe commute to their destinations this morning. Be careful. As always, I'm not going to be with you long. I'm going to hit you and quit you. I want to talk to you a little bit today about some of the changes that North Carolina DMV has made with the teen level 1, 2, and 3 permits. All right, so the teen level 1, 2, and 3 permits are for the teenagers. The teenagers that's trying to get some driving experience out there on those roads. So the teen level 1 permit is pretty much the same. In order to, if you are under the age of 18 and you want to get a teen level 1 permit, one of the first and most important things you must have is be in school. Because you have to remember that driving is not a right, it's a privilege. It's a privilege that we all must maintain to keep. Any violations will result in our driving privileges being taken away by the state of North Carolina. All right, so one of the most important requirements in order to get a teen level 1 permit and you're under the age of 18 is to be in school. All right, so you can get into driver's ed as early as 15. You can enroll at your school in driver's ed. Once you complete driver's ed, you should get a driver's education complete certificate and an eligibility form. You can get the eligibility form from your driver's ed class or teacher, or you can go to your school office and request for the driving eligibility form. Now, this eligibility form lets the people at the DMV know that you are enrolled in school and that your grades are in good standing. Because again, driving is not a right, it's a privilege. It's a privilege that you must earn and keep. So you'll have those two things, and then you will take with you your certified birth certificate and your social security card. Okay. Again, the DMV does not accept copies of social security cards. They do not accept copies of birth certificates. Everything must be legit and on the up and up. These examiners, the state of North Carolina, I should say, like for the raised seal to be on these birth certificates when they fill for the raised seal and check for watermarks and stuff. That's how they determine if the document is a legitimate document. Same with the social security card. The social security card has certain elements to it that these folks are trained to tell if the social security card is legitimate, whether it's a copy or not. So please take with you your certified birth certificate and social security card. Also, if you don't have your birth certificate, or you can't find your certified birth certificate, if you have a valid passport, valid means it's not expired, then you can use that along with your social security card, your driver's education certificate, and the eligibility form in order to apply for the teen level 1 permit. If you are not a citizen, you are a teenager, you're living in this country, but you were not born in the United States of America, then of course you need to bring whatever immigration document that you have along with your eligibility form and driver's ed certificate. Now, depending on what your status is, you may or may not have a social security card if you are not a citizen in this country. So whatever immigration document that you have, whether it's a permanent resident card or employment authorization card or J1, J2, F1, F2, I-94 and passport. You got to bring all of that if you're not a citizen and you are under the age of 18 and you are trying to get a teen level 1 permit. All right, so generally what happens when you go in for this teen level 1 permit, the examiner will test your vision and you will have to do the signs test. You have to know a certain number of signs, and I think you're only allowed to miss 3 signs. And then the examiner will let you go back in the back or wherever and take the computer test. And if you pass the computer test, then you can get your teen level 1 permit. And you must be accompanied with your parent. Okay? You must be accompanied with your parent when applying for this teen level 1 permit, because you are still a minor. If you are not accompanied by your parent, then you won't get any service that day. Also, your parent must have held a driver's license for 5 years or more, whether in North Carolina or in another state or in another country. Again, I'm going to say that again. Your parent must have held a valid driver's license for 5 years or more in order to qualify for your supervising, or to qualify as your supervising driver. Okay? So that means he or she had a license for 5 years in North Carolina, or they had a driver's license 5 years or more in another state, or they had their driver's license 5 years or more from another country. But they must have a valid license, okay, for 5 years or more. Now, if you are international and you don't have a license at all, you're going to have to try to find a supervising driver for your kid, whether you're international or not. If you're a citizen and you never had a license, or you are from another country and you never had a license, then you're going to have to find someone, whether it be a friend, a family member, a neighbor, someone that is willing to be your kid's supervising driver. Okay, that's only if you don't have a license. So once you pass the computer test, you got your supervising driver on deck, then you can get your teen level 1 permit. And I think with these teen level 1 permits, don't quote me on it, I'm not 100% sure, it wasn't clear to me, but I think you'll have to hold it for a year, I think, before being able to transition to a level 2 permit. All right, so once you get your teen level 1 permit, they will give you a log. You fill out that log as you're driving. They give you instructions on what to do. If you are a teen level 1 permit holder, you can only drive between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. only with your supervising driver. Okay? I'm going to say it for you again. If you are a teen level 1 permit, you can only drive between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. At 9 p.m., your driving stops. If you are caught driving after 9 p.m. and you have a teen level 1 permit, the police will give you a ticket and it will delay when you will be able to get your actual license when you turn 18. Your supervising driver has to be sitting in the front seat with you at all times. No exceptions. All right. So for this level 2 permit, you've held your level 1 permit for a year. Now it's time for you to get your level 2 permit. Same important rule. You must remain in school and you must keep your grades up. Failure to do so means you are in violation and you will not be able to go to a level 2 permit. So you must stay in school, keep your grades up, because again, driving is a privilege. It is not a right. It is a privilege that we all must maintain and must keep. Okay? So for level 2, you will go to the DMV, take your level 1 permit, your level 2 log, your supervising driver, whether it be your parent or someone else. Now, this is something else I want to, I forgot to mention. If your parent does not have a driver's license and they cannot be there with you and the supervising driver physically, then they need to write a note stating that this person can be your supervising driver. Okay? I'm going to say it for you again. If you have a parent that does not have a license, whether they are citizen or not, and they cannot go to the DMV with you, they're going to send you and that supervising driver, whether it be a neighbor, an older brother, older sister, cousin, or whoever, to the DMV with you, then they need to write a note stating that it is okay for this person to be your supervising driver, and they must sign it. Your parent must sign it, okay? All right, so don't go to the DMV without your parent, but you got your supervising driver and you don't have a letter stating from your parent that it's okay for this person to be your supervising driver. Now, if your parent is present with the supervising driver and you, then it's fine. No note required, because your parent is physically there to say, yes, this is going to be my kid's supervising driver because I don't have a license. Okay? So that's just a little extra tidbit that I recently found out. Okay? Now, let's get back to going from teen level 1 to teen level 2. All right, so again, you're going to go to the DMV with your teen level 1 permit, your level 2 log, car insurance printed in your name, and a valid registration card to the vehicle that you're going to be using. Because for a teen level 2 permit, you will be going out on a road test with those examiners, okay? Teen level 2 permit requires a road test. So you're going to show up to the DMV with your parent that has had a license for 5 years or more, or with a supervising driver that has had a driver's license 5 years or more. And if your parent isn't able to come with you and the supervising driver, then you're going to come with a note from that parent stating that it's okay for said person to be your supervising driver. Okay? Going to show up with that teen level 1 permit, car insurance in your name printed. Your parents can add you onto their car insurance, and you print that out showing where your name is as an additional driver on that insurance. And then you'll bring the valid registration card to the vehicle that you're using that day to do your road test. Okay? So you will probably have to do the vision test and science test again, depending on how long it's been since you've taken it. Because those scores do expire after a while, I'm assuming. So depending on how long it's been, the examiner probably will ask you to do the signs and vision test again. So be prepared for that, okay? For teen level 2 permit, be prepared to retake the vision and the signs test again. And you can only miss 3 signs and pass. Be mindful of that, okay? You pass that, then the examiner will take you out on the road. You'll do the road test. From what I've told, the road test, they're checking for a lot of things. They're checking for, you know, the right attitude, checking to see if you have knowledge of knowing where the windshield wipers are and how to turn them on, and brake lights and horns and signals and all of that. They're checking for the mechanics. They want to know if you know the mechanics of the car, how to turn on the heat or whatever. You know, so make sure you're really familiar with the car. Okay, you don't want to get in there and you fumbling, because they already know that you're nervous. All right, so you don't want to get into the road test fumbling and acting like you don't know what you're doing. You want to be confident. They tell you, all right, turn on your windshield wipers. Bam, it's done. You know, blow your horn. Bam, it's done. Okay, so you want to be familiar with the car in and out. Okay, because they're checking for all of that. All right, they checking and looking to see how you're braking and how you're accelerating, how you're turning the steering wheel, you know, if you're maintaining your lane, if you're paying attention to the posted speed limit. They checking to see how observant you are during these road tests. All of that. All of that. They're checking to see if you're coming to a complete stop at the stop signs. And be mindful, North Carolina frowns on California roads. All right? California road is when you're approaching a stop sign and you slow down just enough to look and make sure nothing is coming, and then you proceed. That's not stopping. That's called a California road, and that is illegal in this state. Stop sign means stop. So when you get to that stop sign, teens, all 4 wheels of that vehicle need to stop moving. They don't need to be in motion in any shape, form, or fashion, because if so, you have failed that road test. So don't do what your parents do when you in the car with them, or your big brother or sister. Because see, they already got their license, so they can drive how they want to. You must remember, you're trying to get to a license. And this permit helps you get to those licenses when you turn 18. So, no California roads. When you approach stop signs, you need to come to a complete stop, which means all 4 wheels have stopped and you've looked both ways, left and right. Your head is on a swivel to make sure no other traffic is coming. They checking for all of that. Okay? They also going to be checking to see how well you follow directions. All right? They're going to be checking for all of that. How well you listen. And if you don't follow directions, they can fail you for that. Okay? They can fail you for that. Also, you're going to be doing a 3-point turn. So parents, work on your kids with these 3-point turns. 3-point turn means you're turning the car around in 3 moves. 3 moves and 3 moves only. Not 4, not 5, not 6, not 20. They're going to be checking for that. You got to know how to do a 3-point turn. All right? So parents, work with your teens on that. Then you're going to have to know how to back the car back in a straight line while staying on your side of the road. Okay? So you shouldn't be fishtailing when you're backing, because that is a fail. All right. You need to keep that steering wheel straight. You need to put your hand behind that front passenger seat. Turn around. Look out that back window. Use your side mirrors and your rear view mirrors. And if you got a car with a camera in it, sometimes your camera. Okay, but don't rely 100% on that camera for backing, because that examiner can fail you for that. That's why you have all those extra components. You're supposed to utilize all of those components. Use that back window, side driver, mirror, passenger mirror, rear view mirror, and if you have a camera, and your camera. But you shouldn't be solely relying on that camera when backing back, because even that camera has blind spots. Okay, I heard an examiner one time when I was in the office back, we're here, maybe 2.5, 3 months ago. I had to take my my auntie to get her license renewed, and I overheard an examiner tell this teen that, hey, sometimes backup cameras don't work. Sometimes you may get in a car that doesn't have a backup camera. What you gonna do? So I thought that was a very good and valid point. So teens, don't get into these cars relying completely on the backup camera. You need to use your side mirrors, rear view mirror, back window, and your camera. Utilize all of that. When you're backing, your head needs to be on a swivel. You looking, because a dog, a cat, a child, anybody can dart out behind you and get in your blind spot and you not see it and you run them over. And we don't want that. That's traumatizing. We don't want you to be traumatized before you can actually get your license, okay? Because you're going to be out there on the road with me and my family and stuff too. Listen, we don't want you traumatized, all right? The other thing that these examiners are going to be working on you with is called a quick stop. That's basically like if something like a deer runs out in front of you, how quickly and hard you can hit your brakes to stop. That's what a quick stop is, all right? To avoid hitting the object that has darted out or ran out in front of you, okay? You need to know when you can make a right turn on red and when you can't. They checking for that too. Because, see, that's knowing the rules of the road. Knowing when to make a right on red and when not to is knowing the rules of the road. Okay? So if you go to a red light and you got to make a right, as long as there's no sign there. If there's a sign there that says no turn on red, then you cannot make a right turn on red. But if there is no sign there and all traffic is clear, then you can make a right on red. Okay? And the only time it is legal for you to make a left is if, of course, you got a green arrow or a green light and traffic is clear or whatever. Okay? Or if you got the yellow caution light or yellow arrow and traffic is clear. Okay? A good 99.99% of driving is all about using good judgment. Okay? Using good judgment. All right? And they're grading you on that. These people are thoroughly trained on to look for all of that. They can tell if you're comfortable behind the wheel or not. And I think they know and understand that you're going to be nervous, so they don't count that against you. But you need to look pretty confident. Okay? You need to look like you know what you're doing behind the wheel of this car, teens. Okay? So if you pass the road test, they will issue you your level 2 permit. All right? You will keep the level 2 permit for 6 months. And then you'll go to level 3. Okay? From my understanding, depending on when you started this process will determine where you fall. Okay. So let's take, for example, you didn't start driver's ed when you was 15. Maybe you started it when you was 16 or 17. All right. You're not going to be able to go all the way to level 3. So you might stop at level 2. You might be a 17-year-old with a level 2 permit. And if that's the case, then you just wait until you turn 18 and then just go to the office and get your license. You see what I'm saying? So depending on when you started this process will determine if you will go level 1, level 2, level 3. All right, because some people turn 18 before they can get to a level 3. And if that's the case, you just go on in to the DMV office and get your license, your actual license. Okay. The law has changed for a level 3 permit. You no longer have to do a law. Okay, so you just keep your level 2 for 6 months. 6 months, after 6 months, you can go to level 3. Once you get to level 3, again, depending on when you started this process, if you started the process when you were 15, you made it to level 3, then you'll keep your level 3 permit until you turn 18. When you turn 18, then you go to the DMV and get your actual license with no restrictions. Okay? For those of you who may have started the process late, you will take your level, if you're 17, you'll take your level 2, and you'll just keep your level 2 until you turn 18, because your birthday may reach before it's time for you to do a level 3. So if you started late in the game and you got a level 2 and you're 17 years old, you just keep that level 2 until you turn 18. Okay? If you are a 17-year-old just starting out with a level 1, then you will keep that level 1 until you turn 18. And when you turn 18, you will bring printed out car insurance. Take that with you in your name, valid registration card to whoever's vehicle you're using. And the examiner will take you on the road test. Pass the road test, you will get a license. Now, if you have already made it to level 2, you're 17 years old, you made it to level 2, you'll keep that level 2 until you turn 18. When you turn 18, you go to the DMV, and you won't have to do a road test because you've already done the road test. So they just issue you a license. Okay, same deal with level 3. Level 3, you keep your level 3 until you turn 18, go to the DMV, take the signs vision test, pay $53 for an 8-year license or whatever, 52, 53, how much ever it is, and get your license. No road test required. Okay. But again, if you are 17 with a level 1 permit, keep that till you turn 18. And when you turn 18, you will have to do the road test because you didn't make it to a level 2. Okay. Now, word on the DMV streets is that now the DMV has opened up more opportunities for people to do things online. Okay, so if you've made it to a teen level 2 permit, then I want to try to encourage you to apply for your teen level 3 permit online. Okay, apply for it online. Then if you run into a problem, then you probably need to go to the office. And the same thing applies for the teen level 3 permit. If you are a teen level 3 permit holder, go ahead and apply for your 8-year license online when you turn 18. If you run into a problem, then go into the office. Okay? One thing I forgot to mention is that the DMV has opened up another avenue for you all to take for these road tests. If you don't want to go to an office to conduct your road test, then you can go to a driving school. Now, I think you have to pay for that. It wasn't clear to me, but I think you have to pay that driving school to take you out on the road. Okay, so again, if you don't want to do your road test at a DMV office, or you can't get in or find an appointment, or you tried to walk in but didn't make it, or whatever the case may be, then your other option is to take your road test at one of these driving schools. And once you pass that road test with that driving school, they will give you a form that's filled out. All right, so you take that form, your level 1 permit, your level 2 log printed car insurance to the DMV office, and they would issue your level 2 permit. Okay, I'll say it for you again. If you don't take your road test with the DMV office, you took your road test with one of these driving school agencies, they will give you a form saying that you passed and you completed and all of that stuff. Then you go to the DMV office with that form, your level 1 permit, your printed log, car insurance printed in your name, and you would take the signs and vision test, and that examiner will issue you your level 2 permit. That's only for the ones that have taken their road test with another agency. Okay. All right. So we've talked about teen level 1, 2, and 3, kind of what to look for on these road tests when you're doing these road tests. That was just an extra tidbit I threw in there because I wasn't planning on talking about that. But I want you all to be successful with this stuff. That's why I research and find out and ask questions, and so you all will know and be more prepared when you go into these DMV office on what to kind of expect. Because I know that going to these DMV offices can be a headache sometimes, but like I said I think in my last video, I'm happy to report that North Carolina DMV has improved on the whole checking in process and the whole wait times. Like I was telling you, I've gone in to different offices in this state with family members and stuff, and I be eavesdropping and ear hustling. So yes, I do. We walked in, went straight to the front desk, got a ticket, and before we could even sit down, they were calling us back there. So yeah, and then the lobby was empty, wasn't a soul in there. So yeah, they've made big improvements. So I want you all to be as successful and have a great DMV experience when you go to these offices and stuff, and kind of be prepared and knowing what to expect. And like I said, as changes come, I will do my best to try to research and drop videos and let you all know what to expect. Like I said, it's kind of hard sometimes for me to make sure I'm doing the correct research on the correct correct research on the correct topic. But like I said, for all my North Carolinians or soon to be North Carolinians, I want you to be prepared and know what to expect. Because I know sometimes when you go to the North Carolina DMV website, things are not user friendly. Some things still on there are updated, not updated, or doesn't make sense. So I'm in the storm with you is what I'm saying. You're not in this by yourself. I'm in the storm with you, trying to decipher what information is correct, what information isn't correct. So, and I'm trying to bring it to your table so you all will know how to proceed, what the expectations are, and things of that nature. All right. So thank you again for allowing me to inform you about North Carolina DMV, Team Level 1, 2, and 3. I'll be dropping another video soon, so pay close attention. All right. And again, you all be safe. Peace, love, and blessings.